Welcome to the Workhorse Podcast. I'm Jessica and I'm here with Kendall, and we have a little bit of a heavier topic today. I thought it was so timely to everything that's going on. And when it landed in my inbox, and I'm going to read you just a little bit of the email that got sent to me, keep the other stuff private, but it really just, as soon as I saw it, I was like, Kendall, how fast can you record? Because we need to talk about this because it was a really good point. So it says, the email I got says, I have an idea for the podcast. This may be soon for you, but it's on my mind lately and always hits with the next natural disaster, etc. How to still be present on social media in hard times. I find I press pause a lot more when there are bigger, bad, sad stories flooding the feed. I know it's necessary for business and we all need to see the good, but it goes on from there.
Yeah, it feels very timely.
It feels so heavy right now. Like before we hopped in here to record, I was trying to take a mental stock of what is all happening everywhere, right? Because we have followers from all over, listeners from all over. I don't ever want to diminish one person's crisis for another or forget to mention and someone feel like, oh, they just don't matter. Because I do think that happens. But we just did some quick notes. And I mean, we had the ambush of the firemen in Coeur d'Alene. That was really close to me. The Texas Camp Mystic flooding. Deer Creek Fire NATO. I just saw a fire NATO for the first time on my feed today. And I was like, what is happening? And then someone else, I didn't even know, but the Grand Canyon North Rim Lodge burned to the ground in a wildfire. I mean, and that was just the US. I was just trying to like contain what's happened in the US.
Feels like there's a lot. And then in Canada, we have 2 provinces in a state of emergency. It's wildfire season in Canada, which is always really intense because we are just such a huge landmass of boreal forest. So they tend to hit us pretty hard, but it's been a lot lately.
Yeah, we have 2 fires right near us. Like one same county and one's just right across the river. And we're actually in a red flag warning tonight because the winds are over 30 miles an hour. So we're just, we're just going to pray that the fire lines hold. They've been burning for a while, but none of them are contained. There's some fire lines, but praying that they hold. And so, I mean, I got this email and I really sat with it for a minute because I think it was like maybe a week after the firemen had been ambushed that came through. And I had just decided when that happened in Coeur d'Alene. So if you don't know, my husband's a first responder. He's a first responder for a law enforcement agency that was one of the first ones on scene at that ambush. Their SWAT responded. They're the neighboring county. So even though it happened in Idaho, he's right on a border town. And it went out real fast. Like the news went out really, really fast. And we all kind of were sitting there waiting because, is it 1, 2, 3, 4? Are they waiting for more first responders to get there for it to be worse? Like who's going to be called out? Who needs help? Who's down? Who's not down? And all of a sudden my newsfeed blew up with it. Like the minute it hit Scannerland and everything else, and people are posting all these things left and right. And I just, a couple times I like typed it out, when you like go into your stories and you're like tap, 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 and then delete. And I just erased it because I'd get to the end of whatever I was trying to say and it wouldn't feel right. And it wouldn't like encompass what I felt. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to get the words out. And it just, when I saw it on the screen, I was like, this is not my heart. This is not where I'm at right now. Like, this is not what I'm feeling. I just deleted it. I ended up going dark. Sounds so like subterfuge, but I didn't post. I didn't share in my stories. I didn't anything for almost 4 or 5 days. It was a pretty long stretch for me.
Yeah, it was a long stretch for you, for sure.
I felt like if there was nothing that I could add that was going to be helpful in that moment, that I didn't need to add to the noise. I got to the point I was sick to my stomach watching. I couldn't even get on. So when I say I went dark, it wasn't even that I was doom scrolling. Like I wasn't even on social media because we were just inundated with the posts about it because it happened right in our backyard. Like, so not only did the national news media pick it up, but all of our local news, basically any person I followed was posting about it, any influencer that was local, like all of it was like 24/7. I just couldn't, it made me sick to my stomach and I just couldn't even deal with it. I mean, we were actively talking at home because he was working on shift and, he escorted the bodies back to Idaho. Like he was part of the motorcade that took them home. And I was like, I can't see this in my face every day. So I turned off everything. The app and all of that. It was the only way that I could just mentally be okay.
And I feel like with that like strong connection to that specific
Mhm.
scenario, I feel like it hits a lot different in the social media thing. Do you find though that when it's not as close to home, you still have that reaction where it's like, I need to just be offline? Or do you feel like you still need to create content for the business despite the fact that the nation is mourning other things that are going on?
I don't know. I don't know that I have like a set answer to that because I also I'm not trying to be snarky, you guys, but like another prayers for post is not helping whatever emergency is happening. We get it. We all want to acknowledge it. I know people are saying it with like the best of intentions. So it's not that. It's just, I think it's from like a first responder's perspective of like having been in disasters and really crappy situations and knowing that no amount of social media prayers are going to change the outcome.
Yeah,
I think just having seen that and like I've seen people's houses burned down and I've seen, you know what I mean? And you're just like someone posting from 3 states away prayers, just, it does nothing to the physical people affected. And honestly, I, not every single one, obviously I've not talked to every single person that's a victim of a natural disaster or a horrendous crime or act or something like that. But usually they just want people to stop talking about it. They want people to stop bringing it up. They want to stop seeing photos of their burned out house online. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
they just want to
yeah,
be left alone. They don't even want to be asked, what do you need? Because they don't have the brain capacity to like tell you how you can help them. It's like when someone loses a family member, a spouse or something, like you don't call and say, let me know if you need anything. You
for
call
sure.
and you say, there's food on your porch. I don't need to
Yes,
talk to you. I just wanted you to not have to worry about dinner. Or I sent you $150 for you to go buy groceries. Or like they
yes.
just want you to do the thing, not like ask them.
Ask what? For sure.
And so I think that part really is like a hard stop for me. And so I tend to like, like throw the brakes on the minute I start to see that, or the minute I start to see like, I don't know, people that aren't even involved throwing up GoFundMe's or like it's just like, man, you're not even helping. And at this point, it's like, are you doing it so that people see you helping, or are you doing it to truly be helpful?
That was where I was just about to go, is that concept of,
Mhm.
and I don't mean to paint any sort of blanket response to something. And I know it's like as business owners, we feel the things, but we
Mhm.
almost get to this thing where we feel like we need to tell people that we felt the things instead of just existing as business owners. And where does that then become performative versus actually like, well, we don't have to tell everyone that we feel a certain kind of way in every serious, situation just because we're business owners. Like that we don't have to kind of publish that to the world to be affected, I guess.
I I don't, this is probably going to be really unpopular because as I'm thinking about this, it's even like the t-shirts, like all proceeds of this t-shirt are going to go to X, Y, and Z. I get it. You want to do something. I think that's probably the biggest thing that people are, it's like they so badly want to do something and that's where it comes from. So I'm not judging anyone that like your intentions are not wrong. But it's like, then write a check. Write a check to the local rescue that's right there. Just pull out your checkbook, pull out your credit card, go online, send them some money.
Yeah.
And then go sling some more goods to cover the costs, or whatever that looks like, or shoot, even if it's uh, you know, fire in Utah, go down to your fire department and say, hey, what do you guys need right now? Like, you need some water? You need us to refill? Like, what can we do? Because when you like create a t-shirt and you're going to send the proceeds, you're still getting the attention then for your business, not for the people
Yeah.
impacted. I struggle with that. I don't know that I'm not saying I feel all one way or all the other. That to me is one of those things where sometimes I feel ick about it and I don't quite know why. Then
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, that's so neat that they're doing this. And so maybe it's something in the messaging that feels differently sometimes. But sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't even sell t-shirts, dude. Like, why'd you make a t-shirt for them when you don't even sell t-shirts? It's not even like that's
Yeah.
weird.
And I mean, I have to say that like as a business who does drives to
Mhm.
generate money, for
Oh yeah.
example, like we will do a drive that is, you know, for every 5 birds we sell over this period of time, we donate one to the food bank, but
Mhm.
it's literally we take 100% of the profit, 100%, and are able to donate that back.
Yeah.
Plus we also eat, like we also donate above and beyond that as well, or we'll like match, you know, bird for donations so that we're out of like we're always out of pocket on our donations. But we find sometimes for us, and maybe it's different because we're meat producers, it feels like when my community wants to be able to give and help, like during COVID, when all of a sudden all of the
Mhm.
lunch programs at the school, because the schools were closed during COVID. So then all these kids that got fed through the school program, suddenly they didn't have those school programs. And then like our customers just wanted a way to help. So we were able
Yeah.
to kind of do some of those drives that we would have been giving to anyways, but it helped it so that our customers were able to find an outlet that they were able to give into, if that makes sense. Like sometimes
Yeah.
we've attached our name to something because it's helped us be able to get that dollar so much further.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
So it's always,
I've taken in funds and paid things out. Like, hey, Venmo, like this happened. I think a couple years ago, we had a vendor. She was not at our show, at a different one, and their like window got smashed out by someone just being a turd bucket, smashed their
yeah.
window out, and it was like they posted like, "There goes our entire profits from the day. Thank you." Like,
Oh,
and I was like, "That's BS." Like, no, let's get this window covered. And so, I mean, I've
mhm.
done the same thing, and that's why I say I have a hard time with it because I think, and maybe it's something about that like local piece or not local piece of things to where it feels like if you're doing something that's giving your customers a way to show up and help, or you're doing something that's like that genuine, heartfelt, or it's something that you show up for both on screen and off screen, then it
Yeah.
probably comes through a little bit more than if you just are slapdashing something up for something across the country and it feels more like this is a PR move than this is
Yes.
a giving my community something. So, and that, like, let me please, before someone sends me a nasty message, that's why I said in the beginning, like, I'm so torn on that because sometimes it's right, it's done the right way. And sometimes it's
Yeah.
just ick. And I'm just gonna say that because there are times, and I guarantee everyone's seen at least one or two icks in their life.
And I feel like it's because of all of these things that business owners that are genuine feel so unsure of how to show up. Like that's why
Right.
we
Yeah.
get emails like this where it's like,
Mhm.
how do I show up in a way that, you know, if I don't say anything, am I wrong? If I do say something, am I wrong? If I say it, am I
Mhm.
performative or am I authentic? Because I am thinking it in, you know, the background and we're talking about it in our home. So if we, you know, also
Mhm.
share publicly, it's just that, I mean, that's why these questions come through. It's just what do we do when the world feels like a lot and we still need to show up for our business?
Well, and I think it wasn't just that either, of like the internal permission to go dark or to not say anything or add anything to the noise, but then how to tiptoe back in
Yes.
because you've disappeared, and then what's your first post back up about? Do you acknowledge it? Do you, and I think that this sort of like getting in your brain, overthinking over whatever. I also firmly believe as a business, we're never going to make everyone happy. This like
Absolutely.
perfect 5-star rating for our entire business, really, like it's either going to not be enough for someone or it's going to be too much for someone no matter what you put up there.
And I have gotten both. I have
Mhm.
gotten both. I have gotten that it was the appropriate response to something, and I've gotten that it was the inappropriate response to something. I mean, it's never been like a serious thing, but it's just you can't please everybody.
No, you're not going to. And people view things through such different lenses. you may get the thank you so much from someone who's, down the street from you and feels the same way. And then you may get the from someone that's right in the middle of it. This wasn't helpful. Stop talking about things you don't know. I mean, I don't know, but you can't,
I can give
especially
an example.
go for it.
I can give an example. The wildfires in Canada right now are bothering other areas, and that content where it's like, over in this area we're so upset that this is happening, and then on the other side a group of people can be really upset that their summer holidays are getting ruined because it's smoky. And it's like, how to have that, depending on where you're located or depending on what's happening in your area. Something can seem really insensitive. It's just because they're not involved in what that emergency might be and understanding of what's going on.
Welcome to the age of internet where everyone is all of a sudden concerned about everything, but only if it comes across their screen and only if it's important to them.
Yes.
Which is an awful balance as a business owner. And I wish I could say, we have the magic answer for you. 2.7 days after, post this and then comment that, and it'll all be wonderful. And I just don't think that that's possible. First of all, because who could have guessed that on our bingo card in 2025, we were going to have fire, NATO, historic flooding, ambushed first responders. I mean, I didn't have that on my bingo card. I couldn't have anticipated that that was coming and have some sort of response prepared for it. And I think truly you need to sit with whatever you feel is right at the time.
So one thing I'm going to say for sure is, if you are somebody who schedules content, you need to be very quick to act in the event of an emergency. You need to be really cognizant that, for example, if there's as a meat producer, if there's a school shooting, I better not have something in for the top 5 easy school lunches to send out as the thing that auto sends that day. Like, these are things you need to move real quick on if you have auto preloaded your content for any period of time, to stop that from rolling out. If there's anything, because that is normally a very well loved post, that would be a post that people would enjoy. It would be very tone deaf for that to roll out on a day that, people are mourning a school shooting happening. So it's just being cognizant of things like that. If you have pre-scheduled email newsletters going out or social media content going out, just to be sure that you put the brakes on that right away, take a read through on it and make sure that it's still okay to send out that day. I would say that's kind of my first thing I think of when something like that comes out.
Honestly, what I'm hearing is score 1 for the procrastinators here.
Yes. If you are a procrastinator in your content, like I am 99% of the time, you are not going to accidentally send out tone deaf messaging.
Yeah, 100%. I do not have to worry about tone deaf pre-scheduled. I mean, it's great for people that are busy, but that is a really, really good point. And once it's up there, once it's out there, you can't get it back. Because if you take it down, there are screenshots. If it's just not going to go well. And I think that's the same for any statement that you feel like putting out there. And I'll say this, like, I get really spicy. I get really hot and pissed off, especially around first responder things. And there are times where in the heat of the moment, I would love to blast out to my whatever thousands of people it is that watch my stuff some very direct messages. And I have to know myself well enough to know that I need to never do that. Because in 3 days, when my blood pressure is down and the crisis has passed and kind of everything settles out, right? Like, I'm not going to want that screenshot that someone has of that to recirculate. I just think if you haven't settled on the right way to do something or handle something and your business isn't crashing into the ground, it's okay to say nothing.
Yeah, and I tend to just always take things of the lens, like you were saying, and I mean that even if it's something in comments, in captions, in whatever, that you're okay with that being publicly facing forever.
Yeah, there's no privacy, not even in DMs anymore or anything like that. And I always say that as somebody who screenshots and shares like positive DMs that come in. I don't share negative DMs very often unless they're ragging on market for being dusty and hot. Then I share that. I did just share that.
You did just
Listen,
share that.
I was in the middle of the ranch. Like, what did you think
I
was
know.
and bees? Like, I seriously, I told somebody was like, what a twat waffle. And I said, yeah, like, what was I supposed to do? Hire a SWAT team to come out with the assault rifles? Because I have one of those assault rifles. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
the
yes,
bug
yes.
gun
Yep.
thing. If you can't right now, if you're just listening, you can't see me making the rifle clearing with my hands as we're on video record. But I was like, what do you want me to do? Like, have the SWAT team come out and protect the bar and take out all the bees? Like, that's not an option. So, anyways, no, that it's hard though. It's hard too because when you see everyone else posting about it, I think it's normal to wonder if other people are going to think that you're not worried about it or you're not.
Mhm.
I just especially go back to like law enforcement and stuff. Like if you don't say back the blue, then you must hate the blue,
Yeah. And
which is
I
not
will
true.
not I struggle to give quote unquote advice on this. So I'm just going to tell you guys what I do in that circumstance. And then people can take whatever they want from that and adapt it to their own businesses. Typically, I don't go dark on things on social media. And the only reason, it doesn't mean that I don't take a break. And sometimes I'll take a break for like a day or whatever, but I run a retail store that has to have a significant amount of individual transactions. It's not open the same, like it's not open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 7. So people kind of need those reminders from me in order to do business with me. And I need people to do business with me because I have a staff of people and this employs my entire family. So I am sensitive about how and what I share during those days, but I do still have to. It may not be the day it happens, but I typically can't go completely no correspondence for 4 days because people will not show up to my store in the same quantity as they do typically. And that makes a big impact to our business. And in that case, we're talking thousands of dollars in revenue difference for us if I just completely go cold. So I typically can't just shut that off completely. But again, really cognizant. I'm probably not sharing the extra unnecessary stuff. I'm typically sharing more of like just what we need to continue to get through that. Yeah.
I think that it's like topic wise, content wise, that's when I would lean more heavily into still photos with writing
Yes.
over the top that appear to could have been created at any point, whether you
Yes.
know what I mean? Like if you do need to share on something like that, you have an event coming up and you can't necessarily pause because there was an emergency across the country, but it feels insensitive to be selfieing, videoing, walking through a wonderful market with a coffee in your hand or something like that. That's when I would go pull an older photo of my booth or my product or something and then just say, reminder, you can find us here today. Something that's very like neutrally, what am I trying to say? You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it doesn't have a lot of emotion or feeling or anything attached to it. It's just like photo, message, done.
And this might sound harsh, but if it's something that's not happening locally in my like local area, it's not something that I am changing my content for, unless it's like huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there have been loss
Mm-hmm.
of life in Manitoba and Saskatchewan, in Manitoba, I believe, because of these fires. It is obviously devastating as a Canadian that it's happening in my country, but I am still creating content as I normally would in my province in BC. It's not hyper local to me. I can't just completely change the way that we're showing up as a business for the entire fire season. If that was how I reacted in fire season in Canada, I'd pretty much post nothing from June until September. Because somewhere in
You
my
get
country, there's always something happening like that.
right. You get some more leeway with main feed content because it's so delayed now with the algorithm that I don't think people are paying attention to the date stamps on stuff. And I know that came up in the Texas floods because someone had made like a here's how to float the river video. And when all of a sudden everyone across America
Oh my
started
gosh,
Googling the name
devastating.
of that river, that's what came up. And people started railing on them of how could you share this as there are, the campers missing and
Yeah.
no idea what the death toll is going to be. And someone finally said, "Did you look at the date stamp? This is like a month ago. Like this, we couldn't have
Yeah.
even guessed this was happening. That poor content creator just happened to be on that river and tubing it and made a beautiful video of it." But I think that speaks volumes to not being so concerned about, if you're going to make a reel, if you're going to make a post, if you're going to share something like that, I think you get a little bit more leeway because people aren't like they don't. It's not like when it used to come up in chronological order
Yeah.
and we actually knew when stuff was posted. The stories, things I don't know. I still haven't said anything about the Texas flooding. I haven't said anything about any of that except for the firefighter. All the things I listed off in the beginning, I haven't publicly addressed in my business. It's not my place. I feel very, very, very strongly not telling you how to do things because you have to settle on what's right for you. But for me, I feel very strongly about not interjecting myself into someone else's disaster.
Yes.
Like I feel very strongly about, and I think that's again a first responder thing of prayers not helping. Prayers and posts aren't helping in the time of it, and so I'm gonna let your community have its time to grieve, and I'm gonna make sure that I don't have any paid sponsorship posts happening in your zip codes if there's something happening like
Mhm.
that. But I'm not gonna like interject myself into something happening in Texas. I've never even been there. I've never even, not so much as a vacation photo. I'm gonna grieve silently. And in my own family, I'm gonna talk about how devastating that is. And when I feel called to help and find the right way to help, I'm going to do that. I don't need to post about it or share about it.
Yeah, I agree. That's usually the lens that I take with that as well, is that what we're doing as a family behind the scenes, the conversations that are being had in the space that's being held for others privately, I don't think as businesses we always need to share every one of those pieces. But again, what your business and what you do as a business, it has to reflect how you feel in that time. Give yourself the permission to know that you do not need to show up for everything.
And you don't need to know right then and there how you're going to show up. I mean, you're allowed to take time. You're allowed to think about it. You're allowed to sleep on it, pray on it, whatever that is. I really liked what you just said there. I wish I had an instant playback button because the word you used, like ting in my brain, and I can't even remember what it was. But I sometimes when we get so used to sharing in our businesses and so used to everything kind of being content, we can
Mhm.
also forget that it's maybe not our story to tell. And
Yeah.
I say that as we have a good friend who just lost everything in a fire near us. I mean, everything. Thank God she's not on social media right now because the photos of her stuff burned out are
Oh,
everywhere.
yeah.
Everywhere. This is a woman who's still not even able to return home because she's in an evacuate, like it's still under evacuation orders.
Yeah.
And that's circulating, and a GoFundMe was started, and she didn't, nobody asked her. Nobody asked her. And there
Yeah.
are stories and photos and pictures of all this stuff. And here's just a woman grieving, and she's staying with us. She's here at the ranch right now. No one knows that. That's not on my social media. I don't need to go share that we've done that for her just because I create content. I mean, and that I hear that all the time. People tell me, like, you put everything on Instagram, everything's content. I even joke about it. Everything is content. Everything is content.
Mhm.
This is not content. This is so deeply her story and her situation and her disaster. She may never want me to share that she stayed here in
Yeah.
my social media. She may never want to take a picture with me. Like, why? One, oh my God, I can't even wrap my head around that. Like, what am I supposed to do? Ask her to take a selfie with me to be like, and we're housing a
Yeah.
victim of you know what I mean? Like, I get, you can't see my face right now, but I'm like grimacing because I
Yeah.
just like, how would you, no, no, it's just something that we did because we feel so strongly that we were in the right place at the right time to be able to help her. that wasn't because of social media. It wasn't because of my business. It was because of who we are as people, and that's how we show up for our community when we can do that. And that's where it can stay. I don't know. I get this. I think seeing her through this lens of it's her disaster to share. It's her
Yeah.
tragedy to share. And oh my God, we didn't even talk about I didn't even mention it. It just hit me. I was thinking about the mom with the 3 daughters in Wenatchee,
Oh, yeah.
Leavenworth area. Her ex-husband killed all 3 girls. And my in-laws live like 2 miles down the road. Several people knew of them, or so I don't, there was like lots of interpersonal connections. And that was obviously in the forefront of everyone's feeds locally there as the manhunt was happening. I can't imagine being that mom and trying to get on social media and seeing
Mhm.
what other people. I get it in the beginning. So it was like they didn't know where the girls were. So
Yeah.
it was Amber Alert, everyone sharing. Of course, you would want everyone putting it everywhere that you can. Find those babies. But once they found them,
Yeah. I will in no way compare this story to that story. But when recently after I graduated high school, one of my high school best friends died in like a really horrible accident that involved a hot air balloon catching on fire. So as you can imagine, that would be quite a thing. And then it landed on houses. And so they were doing media. And this was when social media was like not what it is today. So social media was a thing, but it was like one of the first times in my life that I really like realized how much something like that spread. Like that video spread everywhere. It was in the US. It was like, and then it found the like section, it was like all over Canada, everywhere. It was all over the world. And then it found a subsection of people who had like really terrible like jokes to make about the scenario and things like that. And I remember for the first time like seeing that over and over and over again and then reading the captions and almost just being like sucked into like
mhm.
wanting to defend and wanting to like, be like that's really mean or just all the things and just like how re-traumatizing that was for her immediate family, for her friends like me, for the people in our community, like anybody who loved her to watch that continue to like spread and spread. And so I do think about that kind of thing too, even when it was like spread as like this poor family that this happened to and it wasn't spread in a malicious way. Like sometimes it was spread in a malicious way, but sometimes it was just spread as like, our thoughts and prayers and to the family and things like that. But it just felt like as soon as you felt like the wound was like getting to the point that you could exist again, it would just get like ripped back open every time you were on anything.
If it's that close to you, that's when I say go dark for your mental health
Yes.
sake. I mean, that was the firemen, the escorting of the procession. I would scroll on my main feed and it felt like every video that was up there, the first thing you would see was the motorcade units and then the fire and then an American flag flying. I mean, it was like the same 6 clips, I swear, that started every single one. And that was finally, I think it was 2 days after that I realized it was just making me physically sick.
Yeah.
That I couldn't even go on and look. I couldn't even go on and scroll because if it's going to impact me so badly that I can't be the mom that my kids need me to be, and I can't be there to hold space for my husband when he's really struggling with that, because obviously they were really closely impacted, then I need to not be on social media so that I can
Yes.
deal with my own stuff and take care of my own whatever, and make sure I'm in an okay spot for them. And that was my tipping point, was just realizing how not in a good spot I was. And you got to take time for yourself then. And that delete the app, delete whatever
Yeah.
app it is. Don't look at the news. Our news is,
And I
you told me, when did you tell me that you don't have news sources on your social media?
Okay. So yeah, and this is really controversial in Canada is that some people who lean a certain way politically often think that it's because we're trying to censor.
Mm,
What it actually is that in Canada the government decided that if platforms like Facebook are going to post Canadian journalists, Canadian news content, they should have to pay.
So
Because
can they post anything? Like, can they post links to articles
no,
or newspaper articles? Nothing.
you can screenshot it and post it as a photo, but you
Mhm.
cannot link it, because the thought pattern is like, there's so much happening in the digital space now. And there's areas in the EU and things like that that are the same. Like, we expect that there should be digital service taxes. If you're making money sharing articles and things like that on your platform, they should get compensated, like the
Mhm.
media that is producing it, because otherwise media dies, because suddenly nobody's watching the news anymore. And nobody's clicking over. They're only consuming it on Instagram and Facebook. And then if there's no compensation, then Canadian media dies. And so it's a
Mhm.
safeguard to make sure that our newspapers and journalists and, all the people get compensated to be able to produce the news.
So
That's the reason.
when you're going online, I just remember being shocked. I'm like, "What do you mean there's no news on your feed?"
Yeah. So like, I mean, there's human generated news. Like, there's people sharing information and there's those types of things. You just can't link to a news article. You can still
But is
show
there like
videos.
Yeah, is there like KHQ? Do they have their own account where they're sharing it?
No,
So like your
none of it's
news
there.
TV stations don't have like news for tonight doesn't have a
They
page
do,
on
but they
Facebook.
don't have like links to their stuff. Like, I don't watch
Oh,
any news. They can make reels and stuff like that. Like, they
okay.
can make
They can make
content,
their own.
but they cannot like direct you to the newspaper or direct you to the website that has the news like video on it. You can't direct that. But they
So
could like make content on Instagram.
do you feel like do you still turn on the news? Do you still pick up a newspaper for the news, or do you feel like you only get it on social media?
Um Jay and I watch a lot of YouTube for the news.
Okay.
So we watch a lot on YouTube.
It's just wild to me because I feel like even when it is the news, I still am only seeing it through social media. Like I don't
I
go on to www.kxly.com or
Yeah, no.
whatever.
Jay and I are big news watchers, actually, but it's usually
I
through
know
YouTube.
sometimes you know about more stuff in the US than I do.
I probably know more about the US than most people. I watch every single one of
Guarantee it.
the White House press briefings. I
You
watch every
guys,
single one.
sometimes she texts me and I'm like, "Wait, what? What's happening?" Or I'll get like a link of something in my own country and I'm just like,
No,
"I
no joke.
was unaware."
No joke. I probably consume an hour of US news a day right now. Like,
That's
while I'm doing
wild to
other
me.
things.
Right, right. That's wild though.
I like to be informed.
I mean, no, it's so good. And I was trying to explain just how I really wonder if we didn't have news on social media, would we be as burned out and overwhelmed and like, because that it just feels like noise at this point. I'm not to diminish any, wow, that sounded really bad, not to diminish anyone's emergencies, but it just feels like it's coming at you so fast and there's always conflict and always something and and it's just like at some point I just sort of like, I don't know. Did it
Whatever
happen within 40
algorithm I'm
miles?
on, whatever algorithm I'm on Threads is intense right now. I have to like step away from Threads because it is
I
like, whoa, whatever algorithm I got on is like intense news cycle.
I have to tell you, every once in a while, I get in. I'm not on Threads very often. I get on there and your comments are
Yes.
always on my feed.
Funny
And then
thing
I read
is,
your
every
comment.
time I lead them, I'm like, I bet you Jess sees these.
So
Yeah.
I like read it. And then
Oh my
sometimes
God.
I'm
So
like,
good.
wow, I wonder what this is about. And so I tap over and then usually, okay, like 96% of the time I tap over and I'm like, whoop, nope, I'm out. I
Yeah.
have no desire to engage in this. Like undo, unclick, please algorithm, do not show me more. I don't want to do
Funny, because every time I leave one of those comments, I'm like, I bet Jess sees this one. I wonder if Jess sees these.
I'm
Because
gonna
I like,
screenshot them.
yeah, because I'm in a feisty subsector algorithm on Threads. That's for
I'm in
sure.
an exhausted algorithm. I'm over in the permanently exhausted side of threads. We're all just
Yeah.
talking about how to sleep better and
Oh, I would love to be
sad
on
and
that
depressing.
section because what we're on right now is a lot.
I'll be real with you. I have enough feistiness in real life. I have been going rounds and rounds with people at work. And I'm not gonna put this on my Instagram because like half of my work follows me, if not more. And like
I love
random
that you're
county
throwing
officials.
this out into a podcast, though.
Yeah, well, we're not going to share this clip. This is just for those podcast listeners that are awesome enough to listen to the actual episode and listen to it all the way to the end.
I was going to say we're about 40
We're not
minutes
going
in.
to
We
put
should
this.
just start
I
putting
know.
Easter eggs
We're
at like minute 40. We're
Oh!
just going to start dropping like heavy tea.
Yeah, well, I'm dropping the heavy tea. I have been going head to head, full on feisty. In fact, I got an email addressed to me and it literally said, I see you chose the spicy route.
I mean, you do
From a
choose the spicy
high-ranking
route.
government official. I know, but I think that's why I'm like so over it in my personal life and why I'm so like
Right.
kind of I feel compared to where I was 3 years ago, 6 months ago, I don't know. I feel very sensitive to outside factors right now. I can very much feel myself ostriching head
Mhm.
down. If it's not going to impact my ability to breathe in this sand hole, then I do not want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to care. I think part of that too is because I feel a little bit like the hell good does it do for me to know? What can I affect change? What can I do? What can I actually, make an impact on? And I can tell you it's not anything happening in Washington, D.C., Florida. It's not anything. I mean, I can't. So it's like if you ingest it and you are left with all these emotions and you can't do anything with it, then I just spiral and I'm like, nope, I'm done. You know what? 100 years ago, we didn't all know about everyone else's crisis, natural disaster, like communities. Like you can drive there in 15 to 20
Mhm.
minutes, banded together, and they took care of their own and they showed up for each other when it counted. And we enjoyed the rest of our lives. And I have strongly
I know
gone
you
that route.
have. I know you have.
You are in the national. You are so far
Because
up on
we
the
don't talk
set things
about the
up
things
play.
anymore.
No, we don't. And it's I enjoy our conversations when we can like if even just like hearing about your news. Like that's
Yeah.
a wild concept to me. I love learning about that and hearing the perspective and stuff, but man, I mean, I can't deal with it. I don't want to. I don't want to be a miserable person who's always stressed out. And I don't want to be sick to my stomach. I want to deal with my disasters when they happen and I want to go about the rest of my life when I can. And if that's insensitive, like, I don't know. I
This
think
isn't a
it's real
judgment.
life.
This isn't a
No.
judgment. I
Oh,
just
wait for
feel
me.
no. I'm just the next thing I'm
Oh.
going to say is very
Oh,
opposite of
okay.
what you said. So I'm just saying
Okay.
it's not a judgment. It's just the way I see it.
Yeah.
I personally feel like even if it's uncomfortable, and I don't mean like put yourself in a mental health spiral. I just think that the reason that I am cognizant of the things that are going on and want to be aware is that I think that that is part of being a good world citizen, is having an idea of what's
Mhm.
going on personally for me, even if I don't like it and it makes me uncomfortable, or like I have to sit in the like, whatever disaster world things going on. I just, for me, and probably too, because social media for me doesn't show me all of those things the same way that it does in the US. I have to go dig it up a little bit more. I got to like work for it a little harder.
So you feel like it's not slapping you in the face. You're going to find it. You're on a
Yeah, I
hunting
mean,
mission.
people's opinions on things hit me
Mhm.
a lot, and maybe that's why. Maybe because when I'm on social media, I'm not seeing sources. I'm seeing opinions. So then I
Oh.
feel like I need to go find the source. Like I've got to go watch the press briefing, because
So you
otherwise
don't feel
all
a
I'm
certain
getting is
way.
somebody's
Mhm.
opinion on it. All I'm getting is whichever algorithm I happen to be on, just that opinion. Where I'm
Yeah.
like, I can get the like little clippets of things, but I just want to go watch the things so that I know how I feel about a certain type of thing that's going on. Or like
No, I think that's a great perspective.
I
And I
only
think
hear
that's
this, I want to go like
Mhm.
dig it out
I
for
I
me.
I think part of it too, and I know we love and teach on AI and I use it all the time.
Mhm.
Some of these reproductions that they're able to do now making it seem like it's someone saying something or making it seem
Yes.
I'm wondering if that's part of it because quite frankly, I don't trust any of it. Like you see a news clip with a
Mhm.
splice to a whatever, and I'm like, did they really though? Did they? Because you could have made that up. You could have. How would we know? So I think, I don't know, that might be part of it. And I agree to disagree on your statement because I wish more people would take that tact locally. I
Yeah.
wish they would show up locally because that's where you can actually still call in the US, their county commissioners. You can actually
Mhm.
still call them and like tell them what you want done and like show up to a meeting and they'll actually listen. I mean, they may not like it, but they'll actually listen to what you're saying versus commenting on some random person's thread or something.
I will never
Where
stop.
you're like, you're never gonna change their mind though. You're
No.
never going
Mm,
to like you're
no.
just not. Nope. Nope.
No.
I'm
Nope.
dying on
I
this
will
hill.
not. Nope. I will never change their mind, but I
Mhm.
will do it when the information is factually incorrect, which we are seeing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say the thing.
Oh,
There's a lot.
absolutely.
I'm just going to say it. It's not beat around the bush. There's a lot of stuff being said about Canada by the US that is factually incorrect, like
But
our
here's
dairy
what kills
tariffs.
me.
Like
Here's
our
what
dairy
kills me.
tariffs. And so I
No.
say it because then somebody else that's reading it that isn't taking the time to go dig the facts and aren't from my country, they don't realize that you guys have never met the dairy quota once ever. Like in history, it's never been met. So there's
But
never
that's
been a
not what I'm saying.
400% tariff. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like
No,
I'm
but
just, that's
that's
the hill I
different.
die on.
Yeah, no, that and die on that hill. That's a fact. That's like a go pull the numbers.
Yes,
There
I'm a
it's either
fact
black or
girl.
white.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying you're never going to get on someone's Facebook page and argue with them about feelings or you know what I
Oh, yeah.
mean? Like if you like I've never once during the was it Obama? I think it was the Obama election. It just hit me. I'm like, never once did you convince one person voting for one way to switch their vote because you got in an argument with them on Facebook over
Yeah.
like, he's a terrible human. No, he's a terrible human. No, he's done all this good stuff. No, he's done all this good stuff. And it's like, what? Like, yeah, how many hours a day have you spent in your mom's basement, like keyboard warrioring to what? Like, you're not changing anyone's mind. Now, the facts, yes, please correct the
I think,
facts.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I think
But
fact sharing missions are valuable, and they're typically, in my opinion, they're never for the person who you're sharing it directly to. Like the person you're responding to typically is not necessarily in a place that they want the true facts. But I think that it's important when
ain't that the truth?
I don't think they actually want the truth because they're posting
No.
in when somebody posts in a way that I want to fact check them, usually they're posting in a way that like they don't want my facts. I just share
They
it because
literally
then
are just trying to get more engagement, and you did it.
and I will
You
give it to them. I will give it to them so that somebody else can see that fact and say, "Oh, maybe that this isn't the truth.
You're
Maybe this
giving a
isn't the truth."
lot of credibility
No,
to
other
people.
people.
No.
Other
You're
people.
giving a lot of credit towards humans fully reading
That's fine.
comments and
I feel
captions.
better
I mean,
knowing. I feel better knowing I stood up for my country and my farmers.
Do you feel like it like how would you weight that in your brain? Like so hold on, let me get this whole thought out because I'm trying to like as we're going. I don't know if the weight of providing factually, you know what I mean? That like I said the thing that needed to be said. I don't know if in my brain I could outweigh that against the weight of I just gave them the engagement they were looking for.
But do you know what? Do you know what the really cool part is? When I do that, my customers love me even more. And then they come and buy all my stuff because they're like, you are supporting Canadian farmers. We love you. You have their back. You are sharing the facts. We are going to support you even more. And they're going to like come to the farms. I like it. And it like, I don't mean that that's why I'm doing it, but it does nothing bad for my business. It actually really helps my business. So to me, it's like, I can defend other farmers, and I always am willing to stick my head up over the fence because I'm not in the dairy industry. It's really hard because the way Okay, so we have quota in we're run very different, our dairy, not to get into that whole can of worms, but our dairy industry, because they're quota, they kind of like can't stick their head above the fence as much because they have like an organization that oversees them and all of the things, and they tend to make the statements on behalf of the industry, not individual farmers. So because I'm a direct-to-consumer producer who's not in dairy, I can stick my head over the fence without any organization telling me I can't. So a lot of times my dairy farmers in my community are like, thank you, because you can say the things that we can't say.
Right.
Because we aren't like, I'm not bound by any organization because I'm the type of farmer that I am. So oftentimes I'll stick my head above the fence for others in my industry. And it just like kind of like further develops those relationships. I can support them. Then they have my back in other times. And, all is
They
right.
need some dairy influencers.
We have like the best dairy farmers. I'm like,
no, they need dairy influencers, like people that can come in and share their story without them directly saying it. I would volunteer to be a dairy influencer. No, I love that. I think that it's great. Maybe it's a little bit of a hangover from the George Floyd burn the police, defund the police movement, where it was so prevalent. It wasn't a subsect of any random thing. It felt like everywhere. There was no way. There was no reasoning. There was no facts. There was no nothing. And it was just like, you couldn't fight it. It was just a wave. And honestly, all of us just sat back in our break rooms and we were like, go ahead, defund the police. Let us know what happens.
We're getting really controversial at 51 minutes.
That's okay. I feel like that was a good point to end on. I mean, it wasn't really an ending, but like, it's our podcast. We can do whatever we want. All of that to say, we have no right answer for you, but you're not alone. You are 100% not alone. I would strongly tell you to just take it situation by situation.
Yes.
Because every situation, every disaster, sad news is going to have different factors in and of and around your community, your business, your industry, whatever it is going to be impacted. And so I'm not going to offer any blanket advice other than the few tips about considering, what's auto-scheduled and being cognizant of that and the little tidbits that we shared. But truly, it's just all heavy right now, you guys. Like it's all heavy. And if you are producing content, just keep going.
I like nice content right now. I like having something joyful in the world. I'm really leaning into that type of stuff. And I think too, just know what your connection with your customers are. If your customers know your heart and they know how you are and what your values are, then it won't feel out of place. They'll realize that you're coming from it like any human, just trying to make the right calls in tough times.
And if you misstep, own it. If you
misstep, give yourself some grace.
Yep. Own it. Apologize. Do whatever you need to do to make it right. But make sure that you're not being browbeat and make sure that you're not feeling performative. Make sure that it's truly like what's on your heart to say. And I think that if you lead with that compass of like, what's the next right thing? What's the next right thing for me to do, for my business to do? What's the next right thing for me, for my family, for my customers? If you're looking at it through that lens, I just think that that's the best route. I'm not going to say it's the perfect one though.
No, we will all misstep at some point, and it's just how we own that misstep and move forward.
But we love the feedback. I'm going to end this on a positive note. We love the feedback, all the messages. So many of you have reached out, especially about the family stuff that we talked about recently. And so if you have any feedback, if you have an idea like this, I mean, I saw this email and I just stopped in my tracks because I was like, this is something and we should talk about this and we should get this recorded quickly because it was a great suggestion. And it wasn't even where my brain had been at thinking for you guys. So if you ever have something like that, please don't hesitate. Drop us an email, leave us a DM, whatever that looks like. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Workhorse Podcast. I'm going to ask you to take like 2 seconds and go share your favorite part in a story. Like if you're listening to this, grab the cute little screenshot thingy of your player and then post whatever your favorite part was. It better not be the Easter egg, guys, though. Okay, if we're going to start dropping those at 45 minutes, you can't be diming us out on social media.
I agree. Okay. And thank you guys for giving us space to talk about the hard stuff.
Talk to you soon.